The courtroom was silent. Cameras from every network lined the back wall, lenses focused on Kody Brown. Once the proud patriarch of the sister wives empire, now the man accused of defrauding his own family. The judge adjusted her glasses, and for a moment it felt like time stopped. Mary sat motionless. Christine's hands trembled. Robin's lips quivered as Kody's lawyer whispered something into his ear. Then the judge spoke. "Mr. Brown, did you knowingly conceal a $5 million settlement from your wives?" Kody looked up, his eyes hollow. "It wasn't like that," he muttered. But the words didn't matter. Christine's lawyer was already standing, holding a single envelope marked Confidential TLC Network Settlement. This wasn't just about money anymore. It was about betrayal. If this envelope contained what Christine claimed, the entire Brown legacy would collapse before the world's eyes. Dot. The air in the courtroom was heavy, almost suffocating. Every eye was fixed on Christine as she rose from the witness chair, her voice trembling but determined. "I didn't want to do this," she began. "But we were lied to, all of us." For years, Mary shifted in her seat, unsure whether to look at Kody or away. Janelle exhaled slowly, the pain visible in her jawline, and Robin kept her eyes down, clutching a crumpled tissue in her hand. Christine's lawyer, a composed woman named Lydia Hale, stepped forward. She placed a stack of documents on the table, banking summaries, emails, and one specific contract bearing Kody's signature. The judge leaned in, scanning the first page. Lydia's voice cut through the tension. "This year, honor is a record of a secret settlement made between Mr. Kody Brown and TLC executives on February 14, 2018, in the amount of $5 million. The settlement was labeled as a production performance bonus and paid through Robin Brown's LLC SRB Media Holdings." Gasps echoed through the courtroom. Cameras clicked. Kody blinked rapidly, his face tightening. That was part of our show income," he stammered. But Lydia wasn't done. She held up another paper, a bank transfer slip. "This document shows that on February 20th, just 6 days later, those same funds were wired into the Brown family trust account, an account intended for all 4 wives. But the next morning, the balance dropped to 0. Every penny moved to a new account under Robin Brown's company. The silence that followed was electric. Robin's head snapped up, her face red. "No, that wasn't me. I didn't even know. But what if the money you trusted someone with was the very knife they used to cut you out?" Christine turned, her eyes wet but unflinching. "Robin, you were the account signatory. You had to know." Kody slammed his palm against the table. "That's enough. You don't understand how business works." His voice cracked, half rage, half panic. The judge raised a hand. "Mr. Brown, control yourself." The courtroom doors creaked as reporters slipped out, rushing to relay the breaking story. Kody Brown's secret $5 million deal. The headline was already forming. Christine looked back at her lawyer. "Show her the emails." Lydia clicked a button and the screen behind them lit up. The projector hummed as an email appeared. Dated February 13th, 2018, one day before the deal. It was from Kody's email address to Robin's. "We'll tell them it's for the kids' education fund. They won't question it. Just make sure it clears through your LLC before tax filing." The room froze. Robin's hand shot to her mouth. He told me, I thought, but Kody's lawyer objected immediately. "That email could be fabricated. There's no proof it wasn't edited." Lydia didn't flinch. "Then let's verify it." She turned to the forensic IT specialist waiting by the witness stand. A middle-aged man in a blue suit with glasses glinting under the fluorescent light. He nodded. "Your Honor, I was asked to examine both devices. The metadata confirms this email chain was authentic and originated from Mr. Brown's verified IP address." Kody's shoulders slumped. Robin covered her face. Shaking her head, Christine whispered, "That's why you fought so hard to stop the audit. Sometimes the truth doesn't explode, it erodes, one undeniable fact at a time." Mary's voice broke the silence for the first time. "So the money, it came from the trust we all shared." Christine nodded. "Yes, every cent." Mary's eyes filled with tears. "You told me there wasn't enough left to help with my IN project, but you had $5 million. Kody didn't answer. He just stared at the floor. The judge finally leaned forward. "Mr. Brown, do you wish to make a statement?" Kody opened his mouth, but before he could speak, Robin stood. "I'll say it." Her voice trembled. "He told me it was for the show, that TLC was rewarding us for the move to Flagstaff. I didn't want to question him because that's what wives do. We trust." Christine's lawyer stepped closer, and when you saw the balance disappear overnight, Robin hesitated. Her mascara streaked down her face. "I thought he moved it for taxes." Trust is fragile. It doesn't shatter once. It breaks in layers until you realize there's nothing left to protect. The judge sighed. Mrs. Brown, this court will determine whether that trust was violated intentionally. Until then, all funds linked to SRB Media Holdings are hereby frozen. Kody's lawyer whispered urgently in his ear. But Kody wasn't listening. He looked at Christine. Really? Looked at her for the first time in years. You wanted revenge? He said quietly. Christine shook her head. No, Kody, I wanted the truth. The gavel struck once. The session adjourned. Reporters surged toward the aisle. Flashbulbs erupted. As Christine walked out, a single sentence from Robin followed her like a ghost, whispered broken and raw. It was never supposed to go this far, but the truth had only just started bleeding out. The real bombshell, the name behind the hidden transfer, hadn't been spoken yet. The next morning, the courthouse was surrounded by news vans and flashing cameras.
I got another one of those emails from some woman asking sort of like
reporters
to
crowded
get to know
the
us
steps.
for the purpose of
Microphones
joining the family.
extended toward anyone even loosely connected to the Brown family. Inside, the tension was palpable, a storm waiting to erupt. Kody walked in first, face stone cold, followed by Robin, eyes swollen from a sleepless night. Christine entered last, chin high, her lawyer Lydia at her side. The judge wasted no time. Court is now in session. Mrs. Hale, you may proceed. Lydia stood holding a single folder. Your Honor, the defense claims the $5 million transfer was part of legitimate business operations, but this morning will show evidence of a separate bank account that received those funds. An account not under Robin's name or Kody's, but under a third party. Murmurs filled the room. Mary leaned forward, whispering to Janelle. Another account. Janelle nodded, whispering back. He always said there were only two. Lydia gestured toward the door. Your Honor, we'd like to call our next witness. Financial investigator, Mr. Andrew Larson. A tall man in a gray suit approached the stand, his voice calm but firm. I was hired by Mrs. Brown to perform a deep audit of the family trust and its related business entities. Please describe what you found. He adjusted his glasses. In 2018, shortly after the TLC settlement was paid, I tracked multiple wire transfers that didn't stop at SRB Media Holdings. Instead, the funds were routed through 3 smaller LLCs, all inactive on paper. The final destination account belonged to a company named Faithful Future Productions. The judge frowned. And who owns that company? Larson turned toward the defense table. Robin's sister, Nancy Sullivan. The courtroom exploded in noise, gasps, shouts. Even the reporters outside could feel the tremor. Robin's mouth fell open. No, that's impossible, Nancy. She doesn't even live here. Lydia responded coolly. She doesn't, but she signed the company's tax forms that year and the listed contact email. She paused, clicking the remote. On the screen appeared Robin. Brown at SARB Holdings, Robin went pale. Kody shifted uncomfortably, his jaw tightening. This is ridiculous. You're twisting family connections into crimes. But Larson wasn't finished. There's more. Within 2 weeks of the transfer, that account purchased a Flagstaff property, the same one later deed under Robin's name. The funds matched the missing $5 million to the cent. Sometimes the truth doesn't walk in with a bang. It tiptoes in through documents no one expected to exist. Christine clasped her hands. That's where it went. The house. The judge's eyes narrowed. Mrs. Brown, do you confirm ownership of that property? Robin stammered. It was meant for the family. We needed a place when we moved to Flagstaff. Christine's lawyer didn't blink. Then why was it titled solely in your name, Robin? Robin froze. Her silence was answer enough. Kody tried to intervene. I told her to do it that way for simplicity. The judge interrupted. Mr. Brown, this is not about simplicity. This is about deception. The tension was thick enough to taste. Christine's voice cracked as she spoke again. For years you told us the money was gone, that TLC reduced pay, that taxes aided all, and all along you were living in that mansion with money that belonged to us. Kody's face flushed red. I earned that money. You think filming our lives, our pain was free. I gave up everything for this family. Christine's voice rose. Then why hide it, Kody? Why didn't you tell us? Kody slammed his hand on the table again. But this time it wasn't anger. It was panic. Because you'd have taken it from me. Every one of you would have taken it. Greed doesn't start with taking. It starts with convincing yourself you deserve more than everyone else. The judge called for order, banging the gavel. Enough. We will review the ownership documents of the property in question. Mrs. Hale, do you have them? Lydia nodded and handed them forward. The courtroom watched in eerie silence as the judge flipped through the pages. Deed recorded March 2nd, 2018. Buyer, Faithful Future Productions. New deed issued June 15th, 2018 to Robin L. Brown. Amount $5 million exactly. The gavel came down again. The court will recess for 15 minutes. As people stood, Robin's sobs filled the silence. Kody reached for her hand, but she pulled away. You told me it was legal, Kody. You said it was for taxes. You said, he hissed under his breath. Stop talking, Robin. But she didn't. You said I'd be safe if it went through Nancy, that they'd never trace it back to me. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Reporters outside shouted into cameras. Robin Brown admits Kody told her to hide money under sister's name. Lydia turned to Christine. That's it. He just confessed indirectly, but enough to crack this wide open. Christine nodded, but her expression was conflicted. Her voice dropped. I wanted justice, not destruction. But it's too late now. The worst kind of truth isn't the one that shocks you. It's the one that makes you realize you'll never see the person the same way again. When the recess ended, Kody sat rigidly, arms crossed. Robin's makeup was smeared, her tissue shredded in her hand. The judge addressed the courtroom once more. Given the new testimony, I am ordering a full forensic review of all accounts linked to SRB Media Holdings and Faithful Future Productions. Until then, both Mr. and Mrs. Brown are prohibited from transferring or liquidating any assets. Christine exhaled. The room buzzed, but then Lydia spoke again. Your Honor, one more thing. We've obtained a subpoenaed document from TLC's internal communications, one that may prove intent to deceive not just the wives, but the network itself. The judge raised an eyebrow. Proceed. Lydia opened the folder slowly. It's an email from Kody Brown to TLC's executive producer, dated February 10th, 2018. It reads, keep the settlement details between us. The wives can't know. If they find out, this entire thing collapses. Kody's lawyer tried to object, but it was too late. The damage was irreversible. Kody's voice trembled for the first time. That email that was taken out of context. The judge stared at him, unimpressed. Context won't save you from evidence, Mr. Brown. The courtroom filled with whispers. 1,000 tiny daggers of disbelief and disgust. Robin looked shattered, barely breathing. Kody, you told me that settlement was for us, not for the show. He didn't respond. His silence said everything. Every secret has an expiration date, and Kody's had just expired. The judge called it. Court will reconvene tomorrow morning to review new evidence and determine preliminary charges. Until then, all accounts remain frozen. This session is adjourned. As the gavel fell, Christine looked over at Kody one last time. You built this family on lies. Now those lies are finally building your prison. Kody didn't look back. As Christine exited the courtroom, Robin's whisper echoed faintly behind her. He said it was love, but it was always about money. The next day would bring the breaking point. When the wives turned against each other, and the one person no one expected took the stand. The courthouse was louder than ever. Word had spread overnight. Robin's sister was being called to testify. Reporters shouted questions as Robin and Kody arrived, both avoiding eye contact with cameras. Christine and Mary entered quietly, their lawyers calm but clearly prepared for war. Inside the courtroom, there was an eerie calm before the storm. The judge's gavel struck once. We'll proceed with the continuation of the case Brown versus Brown regarding the alleged $5 million concealed settlement. The court will now hear testimony from Nancy Sullivan. The doors opened and Nancy walked in. She looked uneasy, clutching her purse tightly, her face pale under the lights. Her resemblance to Robin was striking. Same eyes, same soft-spoken demeanor, but something in her expression was different. There was guilt there and fear. She took the oath and sat down. Lydia Hale, Christine's lawyer, stepped closer. Mrs. Sullivan, you're Robin Brown's sister, correct? Nancy nodded nervously. Yes, and you're listed as the registered owner of a company called Faithful Future Productions. Yes. Another nod. That's right. Robin asked me to create it. Gasps filled the room. Robin's head snapped up. Nancy, don't do this! Nancy trembled. I have to. I've been carrying this for too long. The judge held up a hand. Mrs. Brown, one more outburst and I'll have you removed. Lydia continued. Can you explain in your own words what happened after Robin asked you to create this company? Nancy inhaled shakily. She told me it was just for paperwork, something to do with taxes and the move. I didn't think it was serious until the wire transfer came through. I saw the amount, $5 million. I called her immediately. I said, Robin, what is this? NY's voice broke. She said it was a bonus from the network, and that Kody would handle everything. She told me not to say a word. Sometimes silence isn't loyalty. It's fear disguised as obedience. In the courtroom was dead silent. Christine's jaw tightened. Mary looked down at her hands. Lydia leaned in slightly. And did you, Mrs. Sullivan, move that money anywhere else? After that, Nancy nodded again. Yes, Kody came to my house. He said we needed to protect the family. He handed me a paper with bank details and told me to wire it into Robin's name under SRB Media Holdings. Kody's lawyer shot up. Objection hearsay. The judge shook her head. Overruled. The witness can continue. Nancy continued, voice trembling. He told me it was all legal, that the wives had agreed. But when I watched the show later that year and heard Christine talk about struggling to pay for her daughter's surgery, I knew something wasn't right. A tear slipped down Christine's cheek. She whispered, "You knew and you said nothing." Nancy looked crushed. I was scared. He threatened to expose my husband's old business if I didn't cooperate. I thought if I kept quiet, no one would get hurt. The most dangerous lies are the ones told to yourself, the ones that justify someone else's wrongs. The judge turned to Kody. Mr. Brown, do you deny meeting Mrs. Sullivan to facilitate this transaction? Kody shifted in his seat, his voice lower now. I met her, but it wasn't what she's saying. It was a family favor. TLC was paying us differently that year. I didn't steal anything. Lydia interjected sharply. Then why the secrecy, Mr. Brown? Why the hidden company? Why not tell your wives if everything was legitimate? Kody's tone darkened. Because every time I shared something, it was used against me. I was trying to protect the show. Protect our future. Christine's voice rose suddenly. You weren't protecting us, Kody. You were protecting your image. The gavel slammed order, but the damage was done. The courtroom was chaos. Mary leaned forward, her voice shaking with years of pent-up emotion. You made us believe we were broke. You made me sell my inn. You made Janelle cash out her savings. You lied to all of us for what? A house you couldn't even pay taxes on. Kody turned to her, eyes wild. You left me, Mary. You all left. What was I supposed to do? Sit there while you took everything? Robin began to sob uncontrollably. Stop yelling. Please stop. Christine snapped back. No, Robin, you let him do this. You helped him. Robin screamed. I didn't know it was from the trust. I swear I didn't know. The judge banged the gavel again, shouting over the noise. If you cannot compose yourselves, I will clear this courtroom. The shouting stopped. Lydia took a deep breath and stepped forward. Your Honor, I request permission to present the next piece of evidence. A recorded phone call between Mr. Brown and Mrs. Sullivan, obtained legally through subpoena. NY's eyes widened. You have that? Lydia nodded. Yes. The call was recorded on March 10, 2018. It confirms Mr. Brown's instructions regarding the wire transfer. The judge agreed. Play it. The audio crackled through the speakers. Kody's voice unmistakable, calm yet cold. Wire it to Robin's account. They'll never trace it back. If anyone asks, it's production money, nothing more. A pause, then NY's voice. Kody, this sounds wrong. Don't think about it, Nancy. You're helping family. The courtroom froze. Kody's head dropped into his hands. Robin stared blankly ahead, her lips quivering. When the mask slips, it doesn't just reveal the truth. It reveals who you've been hiding from all along. The judge exhaled heavily. Mr. Brown, do you deny this recording? Kody looked up slowly. That's not what it sounds like, Lydia pressed. Then tell us what it is, Mr. Brown. Explain to everyone why your voice is giving direct instructions to hide $5 million. He hesitated, cornered. It was for tax reasons, TLC said. If we divided the bonus, we'd all owe more. I thought I could reinvest it for the family. Christine slammed her hands on the table. Then where is it, Kody? Where's the money now? He didn't answer. Robin whispered, voice broken. It's gone. All eyes turned to her. Lydia's tone sharpened. Gone? What do you mean gone? Robin sniffled. We used part of it for the move. The rest was lost in an investment. Kody said it would double in a year. Christine's face went white. You lost it, Mary whispered. All of it. Robin nodded silently. Every penny. Greed doesn't just steal money. It steals peace, trust, and every ounce of dignity that's left. The judge spoke gravely. This court will require a full accounting of every cent within the next 48 hours. If discrepancies remain, criminal charges for fraud and concealment will proceed. Kody's lawyer whispered urgently. We can still negotiate. But Kody wasn't listening. He was staring straight ahead, empty, defeated. But Kody wasn't listening. He was staring straight ahead, empty, defeated. Objection overruled. The courtroom was chaos again. Cameras flashed. Reporters typed feverishly. Kody stood abruptly, yelling, "You can't take my family from me!" Christine faced him coldly. "You took it from yourself." Robin's sobs grew louder as officers approached her side of the bench. "Am I under arrest?" she whispered. The judge shook her head. "Not yet, but you are under federal review. Both of you." Murray closed her eyes, exhaling relief and sadness at once. "It's over," she said softly. But the accountant wasn't done. He raised one last paper. "Your Honor, there's something else." A handwritten note discovered in the same file as the trust documents. It's dated February 15th, 2018, one day after the settlement. He unfolded it carefully and read aloud. "If they ever find this money, tell them it was for the kids. They'll forgive that faster than greed." It was signed. "Kody Brown, you can lie to everyone around you, but the truth has its own voice and it never stops whispering." Christine's voice broke the stunned silence. "So all along you were planning to use your children to hide your lies." Kody didn't look up. His eyes were wet, his face empty. "I was trying to save something," he muttered. The judge's tone was cold. "You were saving yourself, Mr. Brown. At your family's expense, the gavel struck. This session is adjourned pending criminal filing." As everyone stood, Kody reached out toward Robin, but she recoiled. "You made me believe this was love," she whispered, her voice shaking, but it was just control. He tried to speak, but security stepped in, guiding him away. Reporters swarmed, flashbulbs exploded. The world had just witnessed the unthinkable. The fall of Kody Brown, father, husband, patriarch, undone by the very trust he built. Mary turned to Christine and Janelle. "Do you think they'll really arrest him?" Christine nodded slowly. "After that audit, they have to." As they walked out into the flashing lights, Mary whispered, "Then maybe justice is finally catching up." But what no one realized was that one final document hidden deep in that same storage box still hadn't been revealed. A document that would name the last person involved in the scheme and the one who signed everything long before Robin ever knew. The courthouse echoed with whispers before the session began. No one could believe the last line of the audit, that a document was still missing. Cameras waited. Spectators clutched their phones, ready to capture the moment the next secret surfaced. Inside, Kody sat rigid, his hands clenched, while Robin trembled beside him. Christine, Murray, and Janelle whispered in quiet disbelief. When the judge entered, the room snapped to silence. "We're here to address new evidence recovered from the Brown family storage unit," she said. "This material was submitted this morning by Mrs. Mary Brown." Mary stood holding a single yellowed envelope. Her voice was steady. "Your Honor, I found this last night while finishing the inventory of the files I turned in. It was sealed and hidden beneath the tax folder. I didn't recognize it at first until I saw the handwriting." She handed it to the bailiff, who passed it to Lydia Hale. Lydia carefully opened it and unfolded the paper inside. A collective hush fell over the room as she read the heading aloud. Addendum to Family Trust Amendment, February 2018. Kody's face went pale. "No." Lydia scanned the page quickly, then froze. "Your Honor, this document contains the signatures of both Kody and Christine Brown." Christine gasped. "What?" Lydia raised a hand gently. "It appears to have been forged. Sometimes betrayal wears your own name and you don't even know it." Christine's breathing quickened. "Are you saying my signature's on that?" Lydia nodded. "Yes, and the amendment states that upon execution of the TLC settlement, the trustee Kody Brown gains full authority to transfer trust assets to any subsidiary account deemed necessary for business purposes. This clause effectively gave him permission to move all $5 million as long as the wife's signatures appeared on the document." The crowd buzzed. Murray whispered, horrified. "So he didn't just hide it. He made it look like we approved it." The judge leaned forward. "Mr. Brown, can you explain this?" Kody cleared his throat, his voice uneven. It's a misunderstanding. I told the lawyer to draft an amendment. Christine signed it that day." Christine cut in furious. "I never signed anything like that. I wasn't even in Flagstaff." Then Lydia gestured to the forensic expert sitting behind her. "Your Honor, we anticipated this claim. We had the signature analyzed overnight." She handed the report to the judge. "The forensic analysis confirms the signature was traced. The ink pattern and pen pressure match previous authentic documents copied from Christine's tax forms. This wasn't just forged. It was deliberately replicated." Robin covered her mouth. "Oh my God." Kody slumped in his seat, muttering, "It wasn't supposed to go this far." The truth doesn't always arrive with proof, but when it does, it leaves no room to hide. The judge stared at him. Mr. Brown, are you admitting you forged your wife's signature on a legal document tied to financial transfers? Kody looked up slowly, voice trembling. It was a mistake. I panicked. TLC was threatening to pull the contract. I thought if I showed them unified signatures, they'd trust the payout was safe. I was going to fix it later. Christine's eyes filled with tears. You forged my name to steal from us, and you still call it a mistake. He looked desperate now. I did it for us, for the show, for the kids. Christine shouted over him. No, Kody, you did it for control. The courtroom exploded in emotion. The judge's gavel struck repeatedly. Order! I will clear this courtroom if this continues. The chaos faded to silence. Lydia's tone sharpened. Your Honor, this new evidence constitutes a felony forgery charge. We move to include it in the federal referral. The judge nodded grimly. Approved. The FBI Financial Crimes Division will be notified immediately. Kody's lawyer leaned over frantically. Kody, say nothing. Not one more word. But Kody ignored him. He turned to Robin. Tell them, Robin. Tell them we were trying to protect the family. Robin's face was strewn with tears. You forged her signature, Kody. You lied to all of us. You said Christine had agreed. You let me carry that guilt for years, he whispered, voice cracking. I thought you'd forgive me once the show recovered. Forgiveness can't exist where deceit still breathes. Christine rose from her seat. You thought wrong, the judge addressed the court. Given the overwhelming evidence, including the forged amendment, the child-based account, and the false business filings, I am ordering both Mr. and Mrs. Brown into immediate custody pending federal review. Gasps filled the air. Cameras flashed as two marshals approached. Kody stood slowly, his face drained of all color. Robin began sobbing uncontrollably. Kody tried to speak one last time. Christine, please. Christine looked away. Don't. Mary and Janelle watched as the marshals placed handcuffs on both Kody and Robin. The metallic click echoed like a final verdict. Reporters outside screamed. Breaking Kody and Robin Brown taken into custody. $5 million fraud confirmed. Inside, the wives sat in silence. The empire had fallen. The fall of power doesn't happen in an instant. It happens the moment people stop believing your story. As they were led away, Robin looked back through her tears. I never wanted this. The judge called out to the remaining counsel. Court will recess pending federal charges. The next session will be the sentencing phase if prosecution proceeds. Christine exhaled, tears slipping silently down her face. After everything, I just wanted the truth. Mary placed a hand on her shoulder. You got it. But the truth always costs something. The three women sat quietly as the courtroom emptied around them. Outside, the news anchors shouted. The headlines spread, and the Brown family name finally crumbled under the weight of its secrets. But even as the gavel fell, no one realized this wasn't the end. Because deep in that same storage box, beneath the forged amendment, lay one final sealed envelope addressed not to Kody, but to the court itself. The courthouse was under lockdown. No cameras allowed this time. No press, no noise, just the echo of footsteps and the low hum of air conditioning as federal agents moved in and out of the courtroom. The case had escalated beyond what anyone expected. The sealed envelope found in the storage box had been delivered to the judge that morning. Christine sat quietly, her hands clasped together. Mary and Janelle were beside her, whispering prayers under their breath. Across the aisle, Kody and Robin sat in custody, hands chained lightly in front, faces pale and drawn. The storm outside had finally reached its calm center. But inside this courtroom, the silence was more dangerous than any shouting had ever been. The judge entered with two federal agents following her. She placed the sealed envelope on the bench, its edges frayed with age, the words to be opened only if trust compromised. Handwritten across the front, Christine whispered, "That's his handwriting." The judge adjusted her glasses. This letter was discovered in the same folder as the fraudulent amendment. Based on the instructions written, it appears to have been left intentionally as a contingency. Lydia Hale, standing tall beside Christine, stepped forward. Your Honor, we ask that it be read into record. The judge nodded, slicing the envelope open carefully. Inside was a typed letter on official letterhead, dated February 22, 2018, 1 week after the TLC settlement. She began reading aloud. If this trust is ever audited, refer to enclosed authorization. Audited, refer to enclosed authorization.